So we're joined today by Grace Musariri, founder of Empylo. Empylo is a mental health and well-being organization. Hi, Grace. Thank you for joining.
Hi.
How are you
Hi,
doing
Lynn.
today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries, no worries. So tell me a little bit about Empylo.
Okay, so Empylo is an employee wellbeing initiative which essentially seeks to improve mental health in the workplace by focusing on engaging employees at four different levels. So that's the individual level, team/group level, leadership, and organization level. And delivering kind of evidence-based employee wellbeing initiatives, which promote mental health essentially. So we basically work with corporate organizations, private and public organizations as well.
That's really good. And it's something that is needed right now. What inspired you to start?
So it's a bit of a long story, but I'll cut it short. So when I'd first qualified as a mental health nurse, I was working in a hospital in London in an acute ward for adults. And I came across a client or service user who had basically experienced a first onset of the bipolar, and they were hypermanic in kind of presentation, risky behavior, things, really, really unwell. The client was quite young, early mid-30s, really ambitious, and following kind of, several interactions, as the client started to recover, we kind of looked at what had caused and, precipitated the bipolar episode.
Yeah.
And we're kind of seeing how stress had been a major factor, and everything had been related to the workplace. And one thing that did come up as we're kind of moving forward, talking about recovery, was that she was really worried about how she'll be perceived when she goes back to work. She felt that people would see her as a failure, her workplace wouldn't understand. She'd really worked hard to achieve, partner in an organization, which is quite big. So she was worried that she would lose that because of her mental ill health. And just realizing that workplaces probably didn't have as much knowledge about mental health made me kind of think that more needs to be done.
Yeah.
So since then, I've kind of been working on researching to understand, more about mental health in the workplace, understanding the law around that, and also thinking about ways, we can implement the initiatives which can improve mental well-being. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the background.
That's really good. And just thinking about 2020 lockdowns and the pandemic, it's such a perfect time to kind of highlight these issues. And you hear quite a lot in the corporate setting, especially that there's burnout at the moment. People just find it hard to disconnect. So it's quite good that you're helping organizations to help their employees.
Thank you.
Yes. So, in terms of a link, so I have been working on financial well-being, and I've been looking at how that links in with mental health and how you can improve kind of the overall piece. Do you find, from your perspective, that there's a link between financial wellness and mental health?
Uh, Absolutely. I do believe that finances, are really important, and they play a major role in society and people's, standards of living. So in relation to mental health, I can also kind of start to think about it from kind of like a psychological model. I don't know if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of
Yes.
needs. Yeah, so that's quite a common model. It's not science-based, but it's based on the idea that people, live by this hierarchy, and that kind of describes a person and kind of defines how a person's mental health is. And it goes through different stages and different levels. So at the bottom, it talks about the basic needs, which is kind of physiological, kind of food, water, air. All of those needs within that hierarchy kind of link to finances. So food, water, air, for someone to be able to afford food, and not just any kind of food, healthy food that's nutritious and builds them up and provides essentially a better, mental health and better well-being, they need to have good finances. And you can see how someone's finances being poor can then negatively impact someone being able to meet those basic needs,
Yeah.
and then subsequently can result in poor, mental health, stress,
Yeah.
even just thinking about divorce and intimate relationships. I know that finances play a major role in kind of divorce, they're, a predictor of divorce in marriages. So just looking at that and seeing how important finances play an important role in just our relationships, our basic needs, psychological needs as well. So everything kind of relates back to finances, in my opinion. And poor finances can lead to poor mental well-being, kind of vice versa as well. So there definitely is a relationship.
I totally agree. And I see it more as well, like if, let's say that a scenario that you just described, let's say that there's issues with finances, which leads to relationship issues, might lead to divorces, which also leads to like your finances are then affected. It's like a cycle. And it's important for people to always keep an eye on it. So I'm glad that you kind of described it in that way. But you kind of look at mental health overall, and I know we're planning a mental health week, highlighting it, and you have an event. Can you tell us a little bit about that week?
Yeah, so Mental Health Awareness Week is from May 10th to May 16th, and it's essentially about raising awareness about mental health in the UK. So I have decided to come up with an event called Nurturing Mental Wellbeing at Work, and it's basically an event covering the 5 elements of well-being, and that's financial, fit, social, community, and career as well, and physical health. And we have a host of speakers, including Arlyne speaking on finances. And we also have some classes just to kind of engage people in conversations about mental health in the workplace. But it is also open to the public. So anyone is welcome to attend. The link will be shared here to join.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this event, and I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more as well from the speakers. And, a couple of them I've been following as well. And there's free yoga and free sessions, like free, you can get your heart rate going. And I think it's going to be a good week to learn, and not just because I think we now know how much of an issue like not looking after your mental health is, but there is quite a lot that we're going to take away from this week. So really excited about that. Okay, so where can people find out a little bit more or contact you going forward?
So we have a website. It's Empylo, spelled EMPYLO.com. And you can also find us on Eventbrite for our tickets for our event in May. The link will be shared here as well. And also you can find me on LinkedIn, Gracious Musariri. And yeah, I'm happy to connect, even if it's just having a conversation about how, if you're a mental health advocate in your workplace, how can we can share ideas, talk about different things. I'm more than happy to do that. So please do connect, LinkedIn and the website. Thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you.